On October 24, 2019, 19-year-old Anaya Blanchard was reported missing by the Auburn and Alabama police departments. Her family, along with relatives, initiated an extensive search campaign, which quickly garnered the support of local authorities. Speculation arose regarding the nature of this young college student's disappearance. Some wondered if it was merely a dramatic teenage escapade, perhaps stemming from a night of excessive partying or a typical adolescent dispute with her parents. While such behavior might be conceivable for many teenagers, it was not characteristic of Anaya Blanchard. Born on June 22, 2000, to Elijah Blanchard and Angela Haley Harris, Anaya grew up in Homewood, Alabama. Her father was a businessman, and her mother worked as a registered nurse. Following her parents' separation when she was around 3 years old, they maintained an amicable relationship. In 2003, Angela married heavyweight MMA fighter Walt Harris, further expanding Anaya's family. Despite the divorce, Anaya enjoyed a close bond with both parents and embraced the love and support from her stepmother, Yessie Blanchard, and her stepfather, UFC fighter Walt Harris. Additionally, her older brother, Elijah Blanchard Jr., who was just 17 months her senior, played a significant role in her life. From a young age, Anaya exhibited a strong maternal instinct, influenced by her mother's profession. Her innate kindness made those around her feel cherished and at ease, as she was always willing to listen and assist those in need. At 19, Anaya Haley Blanchard was the cornerstone of her family, providing them with joy and resilience. Anaya graduated from Homewood High School, where she developed a strong passion for playing softball. In 2019, she enrolled at Southern Union State Community College to pursue a degree in early childhood education, with aspirations of eventually transferring to Auburn University to become an elementary school teacher. On October 23, 2019, Anaya and her brother visited their mother and stepfather. After dinner, they bid farewell and made their way back to their college dorms. Around 11:00 p.m., Anaya dropped her brother off at his residence and continued her journey alone, as they lived only 10 minutes apart. She informed him that her phone battery was low but reassured him that there was no cause for concern since her drive was short. Later that night, at approximately midnight, Anaya made a call to a friend. However, she never returned to her dorm afterward. The following day, her family reported the 19-year-old Anaya Blanchard missing to the authorities. A significant indication that something was amiss was the fact that Anaya had left her dog, Blue, alone overnight, which her mother knew was uncharacteristic of her, as she treated the dog like a child. Anaya's phone activity ceased at 11:47 p.m., indicating that her phone either died or was turned off around that time, with the last ping occurring near the Clarion Inn area on South College Street. A large-scale search effort was initiated, with her parents appearing on television programs, volunteers distributing missing person flyers, and search teams scouring the vicinity where she was last seen. This extensive effort yielded results on October 25, when her 2017 Honda was discovered approximately 50 miles from where Anaya had vanished. An investigation into the disappearance of Anaya Blanchard revealed that her black Honda CR-V was located at a Montgomery apartment complex. Upon inspection, law enforcement discovered the vehicle's interior was stained with blood, and the exterior exhibited significant dents and damage indicative of a collision. Authorities believe this damage occurred sometime between Wednesday and Friday night. Despite the passage of several days, there was still no trace of Anaya, leaving her parents heartbroken. They made numerous television appearances in a desperate attempt to keep Anaya's story in the public consciousness, hoping it would yield new leads regarding her location. As of 1 week after her disappearance, 19-year-old Anaya Blanchard remained officially classified as a missing person. She was last seen wearing a black dress and brown boots while driving her black Honda CR-V. To encourage public involvement in the search, a reward of $15,000 was offered for any information that could assist in locating her. However, despite this incentive, the search for Anaya did not gain momentum, with few solid leads emerging, and those that did were not adequately pursued. To reconstruct the timeline of events, it is crucial to examine any details that law enforcement may have overlooked. On Wednesday, October 23 RD, just before midnight, Anaya Blanchard was on a phone call with a friend, marking the last time anyone in her circle heard from her. By Thursday, October 24 TH, a missing person report had been submitted to the Auburn Police Department. Angela Haley Harris emphasized the urgency of the situation, stating, "We need as many people as possible searching for Anaya right now. This is not like her. she would have come home. Late Thursday night, the mother of Anaya Blanchard, along with her stepfather, UFC heavyweight fighter Walt Harris, shared a video on social media urgently requesting assistance from the public in locating his stepdaughter. As days passed, however, the family's hope began to diminish, leaving them in a state of despair. On October 25, after Anaya's vehicle was discovered containing blood, her parents were engulfed in sorrow. A vigil for the missing teenager took place on Sunday, October 27. According to her mother, Anaya had been with a young man on the night of her disappearance, someone she had only recently met. The details of their meeting and whereabouts were not disclosed, but her mother expressed disbelief that her daughter would willingly accompany a complete stranger. On Monday, October 28, police released surveillance footage showing Anaya entering a convenience store at approximately 11:21 p.m. to purchase potato chips. By October 30, a task force comprising over 60 agencies, including the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, and the Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences, was formed to address Anaya's disappearance. This case prompted a significant search operation, drawing national media attention, with the only substantial lead being Anaya's damaged vehicle. An automobile was discovered abandoned near an apartment complex in Montgomery, exhibiting signs of a collision, with blood located on the front passenger seat. The Alabama Department of Forensic Sciences confirmed that the blood belonged to Anaya Blanchard, suggesting she may have sustained a life-threatening injury. Investigators also found a bullet hole in the passenger door and shell casings in the left cup holder. Despite a strong odor of cleaning solution present in the vehicle, there were no suspects or substantial leads to guide the investigation. As time progressed, detectives were compelled to examine the existing evidence more thoroughly. Upon reviewing surveillance footage from the convenience store where Anaya was last seen, they observed a black man lingering nearby on November 6. The Auburn Police Department subsequently released an image from the footage, identifying a man of interest in the case. This individual was described as a black male, aged between 20 and 30 years, weighing approximately 200 pounds, and standing between 5 feet 8 inches and 5 feet 10 inches tall. He was last seen wearing dark pants, dark shoes, and a camouflage hoodie with the word Vans printed in white on the back. Police reported that the suspect departed the area in a silver or gray Lincoln Town Car from the early 2000s. The following day, the man was identified as 29-year-old Ibrahim Yazid from Montgomery, with surveillance footage confirming his presence in the store at the same time as Anaya, showing him purchasing alcohol. Ibrahim Yazid was frequently observed glancing at Anaya Blanchard and was later captured on surveillance footage exiting her vehicle from the passenger side. Additional footage from a different gas station depicted him re-entering her car from the same side. Subsequently, Anaya and Ibrahim departed together. However, questions arose regarding the bullet hole found in the passenger seat, particularly concerning the presence of blood. Eyewitness accounts confirmed that on the night of Anaya Blanchard's disappearance, she and Ibrahim Yazid were seen conversing near her vehicle outside the store. One witness reported seeing Ibrahim force Anaya into the car before driving away in her vehicle. According to detectives, this witness relayed her observations to a friend, yet neither felt compelled to intervene on behalf of the stranger. All accounts indicate that Ibrahim forcibly placed Anaya in the passenger seat at the time of her disappearance. At that point, Ibrahim Yazid already had an extensive criminal history and was out on a $295,000 bond, facing charges related to marijuana possession, robbery, and attempted murder. By the age of 30, he had amassed a wide array of criminal offenses, including violent crimes, though he had not been charged with homicide. Additionally, he was accused of attempting to kill 2 police officers in 2012 by ramming into their vehicle and was arrested in 2017 for aggravated assault against a police officer. His record included assaults on officers with weapons, dealing in synthetic drugs, and involvement in robberies. In one instance, he even crashed into a police car during an escape attempt. Despite this troubling history, the court continued to release this repeat offender on bail or impose minimal penalties. In June 2020, Ibrahim Yazid was charged with the murder of Stephen Hami, which occurred in 2018. Ibrahim Yazid was also charged with the attempted murder of a woman who sustained a gunshot wound to the face during the same incident that resulted in the death of Stephen Hami. Despite these serious allegations, he remained at large. Auburn Police Chief Paul Register indicated that further investigation and analysis of the evidence revealed that Yazid was present at the location where Anaya Blanchard was last seen and was implicated in her abduction against her will. There is no indication that Ibrahim had any prior acquaintance with Anaya. She may have simply been a random target in a carjacking incident. Officials have not ruled out the possibility of additional arrests and are continuing their search for any accomplices associated with the suspect. An arrest warrant was issued for 30-year-old Ibrahim Yazid, who is wanted on charges of first-degree kidnapping and has a history of violent crime arrests. Authorities actively searching for Yazid have cautioned that he may be armed and dangerous. On November 7, an arrest warrant was issued for him on first-degree kidnapping charges. Following the issuance of the warrant, authorities dedicated approximately 12 hours to locating him. This occurred 2 days after surveillance footage of a man believed to be Yazid was released. A tip led police to Pensacola, where the Florida Regional Fugitive Task Force located him near an interstate exit around 2:30 a.m. Yazid was subsequently taken into custody at the Escambia County Jail in Florida on kidnapping charges and later consented to extradition back to Alabama. He was denied bail due to his status as a fugitive wanted in another state. Anaya Blanchard's family expressed concerns that her warm and bubbly nature might have contributed to her vulnerability. Her involvement in a perilous situation, coupled with her eagerness to assist others, ultimately led her directly into the grasp of criminals. She is an individual who uplifts the spirits of those around her and spreads joy. It is with a heavy heart that I must acknowledge that perhaps this very trait contributed to her predicament. Her trusting nature may have been exploited. Her mother expressed this sentiment during yet another interview, while the family also refuted claims that Anya had intentions to meet someone on the night of her disappearance. They meticulously reviewed her social media accounts and confirmed that Anya had only been communicating with her family and her roommate. One of the last messages Anya sent was a Snapchat to her roommate, indicating she was with a man she had just met. However, Haley Harris doubted the authenticity of that message, as the phrasing and tone did not align with her daughter's usual style. She opted not to disclose further specifics about that message. Investigators suspected that Ibrahim had an accomplice who assisted in concealing the carjacking and was present the night Anya vanished. The investigation reached an impasse until the police apprehended a second suspect, Tunsquirmy Pfizer, on November 22 ND. Subsequently, a prosecutor disclosed that Pfizer had aided Yazid in switching vehicles and had provided him with funds when he fled to Florida. Before detectives could thoroughly interrogate Pfizer, the kidnapping case escalated into a more serious crime. On November 23 RD, law enforcement arrested a third suspect, David Johnson Jr., charging him with hindering prosecution. The charges against Pfizer and Johnson were eventually dismissed by the Lee County District. Attorney Brandon Hughes refrained from disclosing the specifics of how Johnson was allegedly obstructing the prosecution, citing a gag order that restricts attorneys, prosecutors, and witnesses from discussing case details with the media. According to Pfizer, Ibrahim Yazid arrived at David Johnson Sr.'s residence on October 24, 2019, sometime between 5:00 and 6:00 a.m. Pfizer reported observing Anaya Blanchard's vehicle parked near some bushes at that time. Yazid purportedly informed Pfizer that he required additional fuel for the stolen car. Subsequently, Pfizer transported Yazid to a gas station, where they filled a container with gasoline before returning to Johnson's home. Yazid allegedly requested Pfizer to drive him north on Interstate 85, claiming he needed to retrieve something. They made a stop in Montgomery, where Yazid acquired an assault rifle. Following this, they proceeded to a cemetery located off Interstate 85, where Pfizer claimed to have witnessed Yazid dragging an object resembling two legs wrapped in a blanket. Yazid reportedly spent some time in the woods before returning to the vehicle. By the end of November, hopes of locating Anaya alive had nearly vanished. On November 25, police discovered human remains in a wooded area of Montgomery County, off County Road. Among the remains, investigators found a skull with what appeared to be a bullet hole, along with clothing that matched what Anaya Blanchard was last seen wearing. On November 27, the remains were officially confirmed to belong to Anaya Blanchard. An autopsy determined that she had died from a gunshot wound to the head. Consequently, the charges against Yazid were escalated from first-degree kidnapping to capital murder. He now faces 2 counts of capital murder, one for committing the act within a vehicle while armed with a deadly weapon and another for committing murder during a first-degree kidnapping. The preliminary hearing experienced multiple delays due to the COVID-19 pandemic, yet the public and Anaya's family remain steadfast in their pursuit of the most severe punishment for the individual who took their cherished daughter from them. Yazid, accused of kidnapping 19-year-old Anaya Blanchard, appeared in court for a preliminary hearing on November 20th. His attorney, Elijah Beaver, submitted a motion for a hearing, asserting that his client was entitled to a preliminary hearing on the kidnapping charges, claiming that Yazid did not kill her but merely defended himself when Anaya brandished a weapon. The subsequent hearing occurred in June, during which Auburn Police Detective Josh Mixon provided testimony regarding the case. Defense attorneys contested the prosecution's assertion that the crime took place in Lee County. After reviewing the evidence, Judge Russell Bush determined that there was probable cause to present the case to the Lee County grand jury. Court records indicate that Anaya Blanchard fought back against the assailants attempting to steal her vehicle. She was knowledgeable about firearms and capable of defending herself, but ultimately, she was overpowered. The criminal outpaced the young woman. It is important to highlight that as of March 6, 2023, Ibrahim Yazid had not entered a guilty plea regarding any of the charges against him, thus remaining in custody without the possibility of bail while awaiting trial. This trial has faced multiple postponements due to the COVID-19 pandemic and various legal complications. Consequently, without bail or a direct dismissal of the case, 34-year-old Ibrahim Yazid will continue to be held at the Lee County Sheriff's Office jail until a final conviction or acquittal is reached concerning the disappearance and death of Anaya Blanchard. Anaya's case garnered significant national attention and media coverage. Her tragic death prompted the establishment of Anaya's Law, which reformed Alabama's bail regulations. At the time of Anaya's death, her alleged murderer, Ibrahim Yazid, was out on bail. The Alabama state constitution provides the right to bail for all defendants, with the exception of those charged with capital offenses. Yazid had been released on bail after facing charges of kidnapping and attempted murder, which do not fall under capital offenses. Anaya's Law broadens the list of exceptions to include other serious crimes such as arson, burglary, domestic violence, aggravated child abuse, assault, robbery, kidnapping, human trafficking, rape, sexual torture, terrorism, and homicide. Prosecutors are now permitted to request a bail hearing, which the judge may either grant or deny. During such hearings, defendants can testify, present witnesses, and cross-examine witnesses. Prosecutors must establish that the defendant poses a flight risk or a danger to public safety, after which the judge will decide on the bail request. As of November 8, 2022, Anaya's Law, also known as House Bill 81, was approved by Alabama voters. In June 2020, a scholarship in Anaya Blanchard's memory was established by the Homewood City Schools, and a bench in Patriot Park, Homewood, was dedicated in her honor.